So what? He won on appeals. And like I said, this is what I try to convince you folks all the time. But you guys, thank God, we finally got somebody that actually I could point at that everybody says, oh, good, you know who Robert Fox is? Great. And this is going to be a good example of the appeals process. Because when you folks don't get what you want at the lower courts, you guys run and file appeals. Oh, we're going to file appeals, say the judge did this, the judge did that, blah, blah, blah. The judge is horrible, blah, blah, blah. And you know what the appellate courts say? Yeah, you're right. The judge was a lousy, rotten scoundrel, blah, 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 broke his constitutional rights, that violated Hale versus Hinkle, 1902, violated Oliver versus Jones, 1969. Yeah, we totally agree with his appeal. Yep, he wins on appeal. Okay, then I say to you folks, now he won the appeals. Now what? And whenever he won the appeals, or whatever, a week, a month, or two ago, whatever it was, you guys were like, yeah, he won. See, Karl, you could win on appeals, and then what? You still can sit there the rest of your life. You ain't going nowhere. It's like, what?
Well, yeah, they want to deport him, I think. Or
when you win on appeals, the case goes back to the court of original jurisdiction, and the judge will say, yes, so you want appeals. Whoop-de-doo. And they weren't here. The appellate court judges aren't here. You know what? I'm going to let it ride. I like my decision, and it's going to ride. And you're like, what? Wait a second. The appellate court just ruled. Look, lady, look. She's like, you know what? That paper, you can take it and wipe your butt with it. I don't care what the appellate court rules. This is my court. This is my courthouse. I pass the rule. I pass the judgment. I hand out the orders. You sit and rock. It's like, but wait a second. I want to appeal. It's like, appeal me again. Now, he might not know the appellate process. He's got to go appeal it again. He's probably not even thinking that he's got to appeal it again. None of his little fans probably said, hey, dude, you actually have to understand how the appellate process works. No, I want an appeals, so why would I appeal it again? There's steps to filing another appeal when the judge won't carry out what came down from the upper court, when she won't carry it out. Now what do you do? And this is what I'm saying, what happens with you poor people, is you guys just do it one step at a time, like that poor guy, Rod Class. He's just doing he just learns what he needs to know to the next level. It's like, okay, but now what do we do for the next level? And what happens when we get to this level? The same thing would happen to a lady who went to court this week from Washington. She said she said she wanted from the court that she wanted to have a trial by jury. And I said to her, the judge is going to say, well, we don't do a trial by jury in this, I'm not, qualified to do such a, and so I said to her, just tell her, well, we'll wait until we get one who's qualified. And it's like, well, we're going to proceed with this trial the way it was scheduled. And she's like, well, if you don't have a trial by jury, why don't we just take it to show me the courthouse that holds a trial by jury? It's like, they hold trials by jury. See, it's just we're not going to do one today. We're going to proceed with this one. If you don't like what I'm doing, the judge said, guess what? File an appeal. Like, that's going to go anywhere. Ask Robert Fox, where does appeals go? Absolutely nowhere. So I said to confuse the court, what you're trying to do is you're trying to keep throwing things at the court, just like if it was 1600, 1700. You're trying to amuse the court. You're trying to entertain them. You're trying to get the king or the queen says, that was a hell of a trick. You know what? Where did that lady? I saw her get cut in half. How did she get put back together again? You know what? The court is pleased. The court has been amused. Yes, the court rules in your favor. Yes, you're granted whatever. Here's your little honey pot of gold. You carried the day. That was wonderful. So the whole trick is you got to have a whole bunch of magic acts up your sleeve. So when the lady says, wait a second, if I require trial by jury, I'm not qualified to do so, which just means she's not insured and she's not bonded and she can't do it. I say, okay, that's fine. They say, well, is this the proper courthouse? Is this the proper venue? Can you see the trial by jury if I so required so? Well, yes, I'm sure this is the proper courthouse. Oh, good. And you're not, you do know that there's something called like a Seventh Amendment where the amount of controversy is over $20. So we're just going to bypass that altogether? Yes, we're going to, okay, that's fine. Okay, we're going to bypass that. And has this man been assigned to by Bank of America or Wells Fargo to act in their behalf? I looked in the case file. I don't see anything with the letterhead from Wells Fargo or Bank of America recorded into the case file where this man's been assigned to act on behalf to collect the debt for me. On behalf of the the creditor or the principal. It's like, is there a reason why you're proceeding without that letter, from the plaintiff? Then if they say, well, we're going to proceed anyway because I know this attorney, he's been with this court for 20 years, and I know him to be an honorable man. And it's like, oh, okay, so you're telling me like the plaintiff won't appear to be able to, I could cross-examine to prove that I do not owe the plaintiff a debt. Well, no, the plaintiff. Okay, so we're going to bypass that also as well. Is what I was trying to say. He just starts saying to the judge over and over and over. It's like, okay, well, let's put it this way, Judge. Say I got cash. Say I got cash in hand. I got money to settle his debt. Are you telling me this man has the original note from the petitioner or from the plaintiff? And once I tender the payment to the court, I will get the original note, so I could burn the original note and make sure it never comes back to bite me. If anybody ever comes to try to make a claim on the note, you know you have the note in the. Somebody's holding the note, right? The sheriff's department's got it, or the court clerk's got it. And she'd be like, "Well, what do you mean?" It's like, well, like say we're arguing over a bowling ball or something. The county sheriff's department would have the bowling ball in their possession, or the court clerk would have it in their possession. So the outcome of the case, we just walk over to the sheriff's department and we go pick up the bowling ball, or we go to the court clerk and she hands it to us at the end of the trial. Because obviously, if the other person was holding the property in dispute, like a bowling ball, he might say, you know what, I hate that I lost, and you know what, I'm going to shatter your bowling ball into a billion pieces before I make it back into the courtroom. So, of course, the matter in controversy has to be held, in trust with either like a sheriff's department or the court clerk. So who's holding the note? Oh, I'm holding the note. Oh, good. And there's a chain of custody with that note, right? What do you mean the chain of custody? Well, I signed it 30 years ago, and there's a chain of custody, and they could show where it's been in somebody's possession or locked in a vault for 30 years, and it was just taken out of that vault a couple of days ago, right? You have some sort of chain of custody. I mean, we wouldn't ever want to think that somebody would forge or robo-sign. That would never happen in this country. The good, godly, Christian, honorable judges and lawyers and banks, they would never do robo-signing, right? So there is a chain of custody on file as well, right? So see, that's what I'm trying to say. You got to keep coming up with it says battery low. Unbelievable. Yeah, I guess it is a brand new cell phone. Entourage of weapons in your disposal when you walk in the court, so that if the judge tries to get you on one thing, you could just keep going. You see what I'm saying? You could just you say, oh, good, okay, and we have this and this is being in a proper manner, and this is proper, and this is proper, and this is proper.
You mean verbal weapons, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, obviously you're supposed to do it in writing, obviously, and you're supposed to do it with the other side. Yeah, that's of course verbal weapons. But like I said, this lady tried to walk into the court, and she had a pea shooter. She came in with one shot. She just said, well, I want a trial by jury, and the judge said, no, when we're continuing, if you don't like what I got to say, appeal me. And that was it. And then she said the court proceeded, and she got ran over like a freight train. I was like, yeah, because you came in the court. You only listened to me she said, for only 2 weeks. She's found my show. The opinion doesn't have to recognize the opinion of the Supreme Court in 1902. They could say, look, that was then, this is now. They're not here. They have no idea why I'm passing the order and making the judgments in the way I'm calling them. That's nice that you gave me an opinion, because the United States Supreme Court just makes opinions, and opinions are not law.
But
they can't be bound. They can't be bound to an opinion. The judges are not bound. Okay, the judges aren't bound to opinions.
They're bound to the opinions when I'm in the case, because if they don't do the opinion, right? They immediately file.
I don't care who it is, motor vehicles. We enter with our neighbor, whoever created the contract. The revocation and rescission. when you do when you do a revocation or you do a rescission, it depends who is the creator and who is the signee. So when I always tell people, look, if you want to make that Constitution, that contract, if you want to make it that your law, you make sure you're the last one to create. You make sure you put something on that document, and then you put a comma or a semicolon, or you change something from uppercase to lowercase. Now that Constitution, now that contract becomes yours. You are now the creator. So by the intent of the creator, are you trying to say that some Constitution that was written for the states being bound to each other in some holy union called the Union of States back in 1783, for some reason, do you believe that contract has any power over I, a man, 500, 2,000, 280? Yes. Did you pay cash for it? Yes. Is anybody claiming you stole it? No. Then what gives him the right to take your property out of your house or out of your car and walk away with it? And he has no rights.
Crime ongoing, and he observes it at the
spot. And privileges that are subscribed that he's sworn to uphold. Now, he never said that he could, if he's looking through my bedroom window, he could break and enter into my home because he thinks he sees me doing something in my bedroom I shouldn't be doing.
Yep. And I know there's those abuses going on all the time. Yep, I do.
Well, then you make a claim that a man. You don't make a claim that the policeman did it. You make a claim that the man did it under the color of law, in which that he was not ascribed that responsibility, duty, or privilege. He doesn't have that capacity to act like that, whether wearing a badge or acting in the manner of a man.
And he's got a sidearm on to make him.
That's lovely. I love that he's got a gun. That makes it even more of a claim that I'm going to make against him, that he came with a firearm into my home.
That's right.
That's even more money I'm going to ask for.
In my state, it's an automatic 2-year felony added on.
That's right. Just like any other man walking into your home with a gun at night.
What I do is I actually make the charge. And
you mentioned the word police officer when you're making a claim against him. I always say that it's a man named Bob walked into my house. I don't say he was a cop. I don't say he was a deputy. I don't say anything. I said a man walked into my house with a gun. Period. That's my claim.
Without my permission, right.
Well, regardless, he walked in my house, and with a gun. With permission, no permission. He walked in my house. I'm making a claim. He did it after midnight. That makes it even worse. I'm making a claim, and you make a claim for X amount of dollars, and that's it. And now, if he wants to come before the jury, that's as big as my lawsuit is. 1 sentence, 2 sentence, boom, done. Now, if he wants to go before the jury and say, well, look, I was wearing a badge, and that gives me a right. Now, you think 12 people in the community are going to say that cop had a right? No, I'm going to say no. Not only did he have a right, he has duties, responsibilities, and that he's bound by those duties. He has no rights. Only when he acts as a man does he have a right. Rights are innate. Rights are inherent by the Creator. But having a badge does not make you a creator.
Come up with all the files and records and exculpatory evidence that could be used in your behalf, and if they fail to do that, that's an automatic dismissal, and I've actually won hundreds of cases with that. I ask them, where is the
exactly. If they fail,
Title 18, it's Title 18, U.S. Code, Section 3500. Just pull it up, that file, and you'll see that if they don't do that, immediately the case has to be dismissed. Denial of due process, Title 5, Section 706.
Now, Mr. Lentz, he talks about not using.
Your Honor, you basically just demand the rights that you're entitled to. Now, there's a problem. This common law court is a great idea, but some states have abandoned the common law. Michigan is one of them.
So
how do I get past
Hey, are you
No,
back?
it's not. Department of Motor Vehicles. I just bound myself in law with the Department of Motor Vehicles. I created the law that's common to me in motor vehicles. The common law is not going anywhere. It's common to me in the Department of Motor Vehicles. Okay, like I said, what was the other question the kid said? The kid, and then let me say this to the kid, too. The kid said, first you don't be very polite, and you don't be very nice to the court, and you don't be very courteous. You file your own claim that you've been done wrong. Because if you enter into the case as a defendant, that somebody's bringing you into their case, they define you in their case, and how dare you go into their case? It's like a suitcase. How dare you go into their case and rearrange their suit? How dare you take the buttons off and try to say that, I'm not a defendant and I got the right to... No, you file your own case, and you have two cases going parallel at the same time. You got their case, their criminal complaint, and you have your claim that you have been done wrong as a man, that you're not subject to their authority because you are not operating in the capacity of a citizen of that state or a citizen of that nation or a member of that society at the time that you have been done wrong. There you go. Thank God Karl was on the show tonight. I decided to sit. And I'm sitting. As I go, hold it. You said, what? All rise. What? Are you talking to me? What? Are you a man? What? Are you a man? I'll talk to you man to man. You think you're some sort of judge like God? You think you're superior to me? Is that what you believe? You believe you have some sort of jurisdiction and control? I don't see a claim against me from you, sir. What's your name? Judge, Bob Joe, who sometimes acts as a judge. I don't see a claim against me today. You got something with me today, Bob? Oh, you could address me as judge. Who's my judge? What case you talking about? You talking about his case or my case? What case are we here about? The state's case. Well, then it's the state's case. You haven't defined me yet. I'm just here as a man. He needs to define me that I'm a citizen under his jurisdiction and authority, under his control.
And the bailiff walks over to you with it. Listen, the bailiff walks over to you with his hand on his pistol and his other hand on his baton, and he says, "You're going to stand up, or I'm going to take you out." What do you do then? I'm
from New York City. I love when somebody challenges me. I just smile. I'm not from California. I don't cry. I don't care. You don't think. Just because I'm driving down the road right now, just because somebody's coming close they drift into my lane, what am I going to do? Automatically drift over into their lane and say, well, I presumed he was going to take over my lane, so I jumped in his lane. No, I'm going to wait for him she's going to have to strike me first. If I cross over into his lane, and when the cop comes down, he sees we're both on his side of the road, who's going to get in trouble? He's like, oh, well, why did you jump on that side? Well, I don't know. He was kind of coming over to me. It kind of looked threatening, so, you know what, I figured I better jump over to his lane. Karl, he's in his lane. No, I'm going to wait for him to make his move. Whoever throws the first punch is going to lose. I'm not going to throw a first punch. And it started shaking in Karl's face and hit Karl with it and say, hey, man, I got video cameras. And, okay, we got to say, oh, they're going to make the video cameras disappear. You know what? Fine. I don't care. If this isn't Nazi Germany yet. I'm not worried about it. I haven't seen anything that evil yet. I do everything in paperwork. Everything I do is in paperwork. There's no reason to even be walking into a courtroom. Everything can be settled in paper. That's how the whole system works. There's a two-dimensional paper world. There's no reason to be going to court opening up your mouth because there's the second dimension that the state of Indiana, the state of Illinois is not going to appear and testify in open court. They're not going to be there. So why bother doing it in the third dimension? If you do get dragged in the third dimension, just say, hey, bring the state of Indiana, place it upon the stand. Habeas corpus, man. Plaintiff must appear. Let him point across the room and say, I've done him wrong. And I'll be more than glad to compensate him for any damage I've done. That's all. It's over in 2 seconds.
Right.
It's not your court. It's with a paper and a pen. And I said I learned that from the trial of the regicides, the trial of the king killers. The only person who had his actual trial recorded was a lawyer that was actually executed, drawn, and quartered because every time they asked him something, he refused to open his mouth in open court. He said, that's a very good question. May I have leave of court so I could address the court properly? I have not been afforded the right to pen or paper. So can you please give me a piece of paper and pen so I may present my answers to the court? Now, I would never open up my mouth and say, Hale versus Hinkle, 1902, clearly indicates, Mr. Hinkle, president in court today, who could testify that's exactly what happened in 1902, that the chain of custody of that ruling has been preserved for all times, and that you know that nobody had the capacity to maybe alter that, change, or amend that ruling because you've been witness to it since 1902? And the other side would say, of course not. I have no idea. It could have been changed. I don't know. Maybe in 1903 somebody doctored it up. How the hell do I know? I was like, that's right. So it's inadmissible. So who could possibly care less?
Right. So
all I do is go look through some. It's not your case. It's in paper and pen, and put it in writing, and just keep requiring of the court to bring forth the man or woman that is making the claim, so I can compensate him for the damages that I now do. That's it.
There you go.
That's all I'm going to keep saying.
Right, Karl, but what I'm saying
and I'm going to do it in writing. And I'm going to do it in writing.
It sounds really easy when you talk it, but I'm talking about walking it. When you go into the court and they put all these obstacles and they tell you you're a fool, you get on here with my forms, and then I hear that you have to put your thumbprint, you have to put it in, you have to put all this stuff in, and it sounds like people aren't used to doing that. There aren't many people that have a court case that is a big money court case under common law that I hear about. I don't see any evidence of anybody who's done that, that's actually gone through with it.
Sure.
And I want,
common law. The best way to watch common law is watch Judge Judy's show. She's doing common law every 5 seconds on her show. One man comes in, makes the claim, the other man either makes a counterclaim, or the other man is saying, okay, this is the reason why I failed to do such and that. That's common law. Well, if there's a contract between you and Verizon Wireless, that's the common law. That's the terms and the conditions that are settled within the contract between you and somebody else. That creates your law. You created the law. Just like Karl Miller said earlier, they said the creator of the document, of the Constitution, is the intent of the creator forms the law. There you go. How much tougher is that? That's common law. Now, I'm not talking English common law where they got all these silly rules. Go Google the word common law. The word common law is unwritten law. That's right, because there's trillions of common law, trillions of laws being created every day. Every time another man enters into another agreement with another man, he's making an agreement, which is binding him in some form of like a law. It says this is the law of the parties. It's common to him, and it's common to me. It's nobody else it's common to. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe the rest of society also says, you know what, Karl? If you agreed to dig a hole, and you didn't dig the hole when you're intercoursing with statutes, or when you're intercoursing with government officials, they operate in second dimension, on black and white, on paper. So, yes, they take great worth or great value of your writing skills. So you communicate with them at a level in which they are totally aware of and they love, and they're totally confident in a certain style. So when you stylize your documents in a manner in which they look at and they go, oh my God, it's like watch these Matrix movies. Like, hey, can you see the code? And it's like, yes, some of us could actually read this dribble, and this dribble all makes sense. It's all a beauty or a magic to this code. Look at the code. And like, oh, you watch that other one where Russell Crowe plays this guy who deciphers codes just by looking at numbers, and he can figure it out in 2 seconds. And there's a beauty in the code. So when I write a certain style, I know I'm making the legal folks in the legal society who are, way up there, laugh. They're like, this guy is a player. Like I said, go back to my show. And
the claim of what?
Cognizance. And I said, that's the final card in the deck. You can't go any higher than a claim of cognizance. That's it.
That's that weird word.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to have to go look like I did, find it in the 1540s book. You're going to have to actually go to a law library and decipher it. But it's a wonderful claim. But when the attorney looked at it, he said he handed it to the attorney. The attorney said, what's this, to the white guy. And the white guy tried to explain what it was. And the little tiny bit of knowledge I gave him, he tried to actually explain it. And the black guy hit him and said, Karl told you to shut up. Let this guy do his damn job. Let him decipher his own legalese. Let him do it. So the guy stood up in court, walked out of the bar with his face looking at the document, never took his eyes off the document, walked through the courtroom, opened up the courtroom door, never took his eyes off the document, walked down the hall. C-O-N.
C-O-N.
O-N. USA. And C-E.
Do it again.
Good luck. C-O-N, USA, and C-E. Con, USA, name.
Oh, okay. So Mike here, he typed it in. Okay. Cognizance.
Good luck. Yeah, good luck. Good luck Googling it. You think they're going to make it so somebody like normal people like you guys know what it means? Good luck.
You're still in the wind or something.
Okay. You're talking about a federal judge in Canada, China, Mexico?
No. It's in the USA.
Okay, sir, then what that man would be called would be a United States District Court judge, because there's federal courts in China, Mexico, Canada. All over the world is federal courts. Federal just means to pledge, okay? We just want to pledge to meet in a civilized manner in a certain place at a certain time. Federal court isn't just for the United States of America. See, a lot of people in America, United States of America, we are so self-absorbed that we think the word federal has to do with USA. That's not. It's a Hebrew word, okay? When you say federal judge, if he actually says he's a federal judge, it's like, are you a federal judge, or are you telling me to do this in the capacity as a United States District Court judge? Because then what he's trying to do is he's trying to get you to abide by certain rules of federal procedure, which would be like, say, Rule 17. It's like, well, you're not following by the parties. You're not defining the parties properly, or you're not giving people proper service and notice. You're not doing under Rule 11, or you're not doing under Rule 5A. So that he might be saying that you're not following a certain United States civil procedure code. But a federal judge, no. A federal judge could be a Mexican federal judge, and then it's whatever court that you brought in. And when you make a complaint, it's not a claim. When you make a claim, it's your court. When you make a complaint, you're basing it upon, like, say, civil rights complaint, like on the Title 42. Okay? Is that what you're trying to do, like a Title 42? You are bound by their rules, and you have to do it exactly according to the way their code defines it. And you can't modify it, and you can't interpret it any other way other than the way that they say it has to be written. So if it's not done exactly there, you can't stylize it. You can't say, well, I'm going to use a little bit of Karl Lentz's method of, a man, and I have rights. No, you're going to have to come in as a citizen, and you have duties, obligations, and responsibilities. That's what a citizen has. A citizen's a member of a family. And that's what citizen means. It's a civis. It's Latin. It means a member of a family. So Barack Obama is out. If you're a United States citizen, Barack Obama is your daddy, and you're subordinate to him. And you act like his child, and you will be treated like his child. Okay? That's what citizen is. State citizen you are. If you do not believe you're a United States citizen, you are not. You cannot be, no man, and like I said, if you want to do one of these Karl Miller things and do the United States Supreme Court case, you want to do Supreme Court case in 1943, you want to do West Virginia versus Barnett, West Virginia Board of Education versus Barnett, it says if there's any fixed star in our constellation, constitutional constellation, is that no officer of the United States, no matter how high, no matter how low, petty is the word they use, is petty, can tell a man what he could believe, and whether his religious beliefs, his political beliefs, is anything. So if you believe that you're a United States citizen, if you believe, because if you fill out your W-4 form about, I think it's like line G, about 3/4 of the way down, it says, do you believe that you're exempt? Write down that your beliefs. Tell us your beliefs. And nobody in the United States, no matter how high or no how low, can tell a man what he can and cannot believe. So if I say I believe I'm not, I do not have to, I'm not liable for an income tax this year, nobody in the United States, no matter how high, no low, can tell me what a man, a man, can believe. It's that simple. Like I said, I did that to Mr. Karl Miller one time. I said, what kind of form of government do we have on this land? He was like Republic, the Democratic Republic. Well, first he went off on saying tyranny. Yeah, right. No, this is the land of the self-governing. This is the land of the great experiment of the self-governing. Can man handle his own business without somebody like a king with having to have a meat cleaver, or a knife, or a sword behind the man's back to make the man do the right thing? Does man, within his own capacity, have the ability to do right by his neighbors? This is the grand experiment of the self-governing. This is a self-governing land. Even Barack Obama said that on, I think it was, if you want to be the federal court.
You're right. It's the United States. That's just a common name that we use over here in the state that I'm in.
Because there are two courts being held within that. There's many courts being held in that building. You could have a federal court. You could have a bankruptcy court. You could have a criminal case. United States, the criminal court. It could be a civil court inside of that public courthouse. There could be divorce courts going on. There could be a federal court going on. That courthouse can act in like unlimited capacity. You could move whatever kind of court you want to move in. If you want to move a federal court into that house, go do it. Nobody's stopping you.
You're right.
But if you define it under Title 42, you're converting that building right now at that particular moment in time into the United States District Court.
I agree.
It's up to you.
I agree.
It's up to you. They're just waiting to serve you. They're just waiting to serve you. They're just waiting for you to come in and lay either a claim or complaint before them, and they'll address it to the proper court. They'll say, okay, he wants to go by these rules, so then we're going to hold him liable and bind him by these rules. What rules is he invoking? And we're going to hold him to it as well, just like we hold the defendant to the rules as well.
Okay.
They're holding you to the rules. The court, the tune that you're calling, like say you say, well, everybody's got a tap dance here. All of a sudden, if you start, putting a piece of cardboard down and start doing break dancing, they're going to say, whoa, you called the tune, dude. It's tap dancing. It's tap dancing. What's with the cardboard? No, you can't do that. Take that cardboard away and you make a claim. It doesn't have, is your claim more than 2-3 sentences long? Then it's too much.
Okay, it shouldn't be all the writing you're saying. And I can agree.
It means you're just making a complaint. What it's saying is that you can't prove anything you're saying is true. It's just you think maybe that somebody did you wrong. Maybe. When you're making a complaint, you don't have proof. When you're making a claim, you say, there is no doubt about it. I found gold over there between that red rock and those 3 trees. I'm making a claim.
Exactly what I did. Exactly.
And a complaint. Oh, okay, let me just tell you. Do you know what the word plaintiff means in French?
No, I just know it's not the same thing as claim. I know it's best to do a claim.
Sir, plaintiff means you're wretched, nagging old hag. So if you walked over to France and you call some man a plaintiff, he'd say, no, I know plaintiff. You call him again, he's going to knock his teeth out because you're calling him a wretched, nagging old hag. It's a French word. It's somebody who just, oh, my God, not that nasty, wretched, nagging old hag. What is she complaining about now? Nobody wants to hear it, buddy. Make your claim. Stop using French words. If you don't know what the word plaintiff means, stop using it. You say you're coming in as a man. Sir, you're saying you're coming in as a man, but you call yourself a plaintiff, which really means you're calling yourself a nagged, wretched old hag. So why are you using the word plaintiff to define you?
Well,
I don't know.
I didn't know what because
the legalese society is laughing at somebody like you. They're going, oh, she's calling himself a wretched old hag. Oh, this is funny.
And that's why I'm talking to a guy like you. And
So
hopefully,
I'm a man, and I make a claim, and you make your
tell
claim.
me this. Tell me this, Carl. Okay, Carl, I remember that.
She do wrong. She do wrong to Tarzan. If you talk like that, you're going to win. You start saying plaintiff, you're going to lose. CIT means shit. It literally means shit. So you're a citizen. So if you don't think it's true, go etymologize the word citizen, and you'll see it's CIT. The very first word is what they used to pronounce as shit. It's the lowly people of the land. That's a citizen. That's why when all the French nobility were killed, go watch them all. Ridiculous. And like I said, I don't have to take it that far. The judges just laugh. Like the judge did in Indiana to that man. He said, oh, wow, this man is actually calling the state out and telling the state to take the witness stand. This is going to be a lot of fun. So the judge asked the guy, he's like, oh, well, would you like to prosecute the prosecutor? Would you like to put the state on the stand so the state can make the claim that you've done wrong? He was like, nah, that's okay, sir. The state said they need 30 days to answer my claim. I guess I'll give him 30 days. The guy didn't know the judge was setting the guy up for a beauty win. Because the prosecutor's like, we got this 3-sentence document, and the state's going to have to require leave of court for 30 days before we can properly enter this court. And the judge says, well, wait a second, before we give you leave, sir, would you like to put the state on the stand before I grant him a 30-day leave? And all the little guy had to say is, nope. He called me to be here today. He's the plaintiff. He must appear. If he doesn't appear and he doesn't testify today, I require this court to discharge everything that this plaintiff is trying to bring before this court. And the judge would have said, okay, fine, granted. The case is discharged. And that's what happened in England. The case was discharged. And now we could turn around and sue those folks over there in England for bringing a false charge. When it's dismissed, you can't sue them. You have to wait for the case to be discharged before you can turn around and sue the other side. So there you go. That's my belief about your Constitution.
Okay. Moving right along, North Georgia, go ahead.
You'd hope for, to me, the only thing that you move for and hope for is that it's unconscionable. The contract that they bound you in, you could basically try, there's like 7 elements of a contract that could be void. And the only thing I could think of is when it comes to a homeowners association, is like it's unconscionable. That they could possibly have that kind of control, and that when you entered into that contract, you did not know that it was going to be so overwhelming. So like I said, hopefully you could get other people within that homeowners association, other neighbors as well, within that little tiny district or society in which you guys created your own common law by binding yourselves within some sort of a homeowners association, some sort of colony kind of compact or charter, that you would abide by a certain rules or certain ways. If you could get enough people to say, hey, you know what, this is unconscionable. We never thought that it was going to lead to escalation of this kind of, what you would call, like you'd say, like, I don't want to use the word tyranny, but, I'm saying that these people are getting out of control, that these people are micromanaging everything, that no person should be able to endure, that, this is unconscionable. That's the only thing, because you bound yourself to live within that little communal society. Like you're on Gilligan's Island, and you all agree to abide by a little certain set of rules. And if I'm not bound by those rules, you created that common law between your little group. And this is how you people chose to live. Now, you can't ask from somebody from the outside like me to help you with your claim against the homeowners association, because it's like, look, if this is how you guys decided to live, this is how you guys decided to live. Now, when you have a problem with the homeowners association, don't you folks have some sort of little committee or groups that meet once a month?
That I signed, and they seen me sign a contract, and they have actual knowledge of it and stuff like that. And that's the letters I've been sending to them, and they've been ignoring it. So I'm basically trying to do an administrative process on them to default them.
Well, like I said, sir, when you joined a little society like a Kiwanis Club or a legal society or the Boys Club of America, if they say they don't like Boys Club of America, don't allow gay members, and you flat out come and you say you're gay, and they want to kick you out or tell you got to renounce that, or you got to keep it in your pants, and you decide not to, they have every right to kick you out. You bound yourself to abide by a certain set of rules of a community standard. You created the common law. Once you bound into, nobody put a gun to your head and told you to join that.
I know, but see, where is the contract? That's all I'm asking them. If I join something,
did you not sign a contract with the homeowners association, and you would abide by a certain set of rules?
I do not recall signing a contract with the homeowners association. That's what I'm telling you. I've been sending them letters asking them to verify it.
What I'm saying is they just let you move into the homeowners association and they never knew who you were?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, because you don't go by what's on paper. You go by live people's mouth, their voice.
Yes,
right?
that is. If you created a law, if you went into a contract, you created law. Now, if you didn't say that this is an unconscionable contract and I'm going to amend it, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But if I want to hang an American flag from my mailbox, I'm going to do it. So you could alter the contract. And if they just sign it and they say, okay, fine, we'll let you, you'll be the one person out of the whole community that's allowed to do it because we really want you to be a member of our homeowners association, our club. So, okay, we'll allow you to fly a flag. You know what? That is kind of silly not to let you fly a flag. And maybe you'll get them. But if you would bound yourself to a certain set of rules, you're bound.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm still trying to get you to understand where is the contract. I did not admit to signing a contract with them. I'm asking them to show me the contract. The same way with a mortgage and somebody trying to foreclose on your house. Show me the note.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is you're in a homeowners association. What did you just sneak in and buy a house and the homeowners association said?
I'm not admitting that I'm in a homeowners association. What I'm saying is that they are sending me letters saying that they're going to charge me $25 a day for building a tool shed in my backyard, and nobody's complaining about it. I'm asking them to show me a contract that says that you have jurisdiction over my property.
Okay, well, first of all, one, it's not property, because property means it's exclusive to you and nobody within the society can make a claim for it. Now, obviously, the homeowners association can say, yes, we have a claim on that land. We developed it. We put the sewage system in. We put a street. We put a sidewalk. We put street lights in there. Yes, we're going to make a claim. So it's not exclusively your property. Property means what's exclusive to you, inherent within your body. Your property is like your heartbeat, your beliefs.
Right.
That's your property. Well, everything what you labored for, what you create. Now, can somebody else claim that they labored for that land, that they leveled the trees, they put a pavement down, and did you pay that land off and pay everything flat out, and you owe no debt to nobody?
Okay, as far as the land, I acknowledge the deed as a live human being and put a writ into court saying that anybody that has a claim against this land or property has to come to me as a live man and not as a corporation or an artificial entity.
Okay, and you're going to do what with that statement?
I'm going to have it in court. I'm going to have it filed in the public records for everyone to see.
You could file anything in the public record. You could file in public record that you're a unicorn. Who's going to argue with you?
That's what I'm saying. Don't argue with me with the land that I'm occupying unless you're a live human man.
Okay. So nobody's going to argue with you. So nobody's going to argue with you.
They are. They're sending me letters saying that I have to give them $25 a day.
That has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with the claim that you're a unicorn or that you believe it's your land. Yeah, great. And you have to challenge their beliefs. You're saying, okay, I don't believe that I owe you. Okay, so if you don't believe you owe him, you don't believe you owe him. Then what's the next step? Are they going to take you into a district court, a municipal court? They're going to kick you out? What are they going to do? I don't know how your homeowners association rolls. What's the next step if you say, you know what, F you, I'm not paying?
Well, basically that's what I've been doing. Just sending them letters back and forth, saying for them to validate their claim. And
wait a minute. I think the homeowners association process and methodology and all the contents in their little contract is in the mortgage when you sign on to it.
Yeah, I know, Angela, and you know.
Well, if it is, I'm asking them to show it to me. I mean, if you want to say the claim, then show me the proof. That's all I'm asking.
I'm just waiting
because I'm not going to give them their evidence against me. I'm not going to incriminate myself.
I'm just waiting for 11 o'clock.
All right, we're going to move on.
You busted me. Sir, you just said they have.
Okay. And
they don't recognize you, sir, because, sir, you have no standing because you have no case.
All right, now.
So what, you have to bring a case?
In court, that you come in as a claimant and you make a claim that somebody's moving a false charge against you because you're just a man going from point A to point B and you cause no harm, injury, or loss to any other man on planet Earth?
I've
Make
done
a claim that no, you didn't, sir. You don't have a case. You're trying to. You're trying to operate with inside of their case. Case is a casing. It's a carcass. It's like a sausage case. You're bound inside of their case. You have certain limited ability to move inside of that case. You're bound. You're trapped. You got to break free. You got to make your own claim. You got to make your own case, and you stylize it in a manner which you wish. You can't try to rearrange somebody else's case. Like, how dare them if they try to come into your case and try to rearrange your case and tell you how they're going to be defined. You define them in a way you want to define them, and you try on your suit before the jury. Okay? You try on your suit before the judges, and they'll determine whether you got a golden suit or a nylon suit or a platinum suit or a wool suit. You'll determine. How dare anybody try to alter your case? And you're trying to alter their case. They're saying, look, sir, all we know is that you're a defendant. All we know is that you are an operator of a motorized vehicle and you have some sort of driver's license. They're not going to tell you. If you want to dispute that, make your own damn claim. Don't try to rearrange our case and our complaint. Make your own. But they're not going to tell you. Make your own. Why should they tell you? Why should they tell you? It's a lot more fun dealing with morons who walk in the court saying, I'm a live man. I'd like to see a dead man walk into the court. That'd be pretty silly.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're actually
commenting. You just don't know the rules. Dude, you just don't know the rules. It's a duel. It's a civilized trial. Okay, it's civil court. Okay, it's a duel. Okay, you're coming in under their rules, under their terms, under their conditions, and they're saying, well, this is going to be a duel. We got a gun and you don't. Why? Okay. So we could win. They don't want you to shoot back. They want to win.
Right. Well, okay. So now I've been there 14 times. I've walked out 14 times. Let me tell you.
You've been in there? And how many times have you been in there? Okay.
Let me tell you what they have against me. Let me tell you what they have against me. They're trying to have against me. They're all Catholic is your name. Driving with no license. Driving with no insurance. Driving with no
6 more minutes.
Muscle tail light.
Yeah, they got 6 more minutes. 8 more minutes. Go ahead. In your case, your claim, you got no voice. You're defined as a debtor. If you're defined as the debtor, you're defined as the slave, and the slave has no voice.
What should he do? Make his own claim?
Make your own claim. Make your claim
that's not a counter complaint or a counter.
No, of course not.
That's a straightaway. Right.
If I was going to make a counterclaim, I'd have to make a counterclaim against another man. If you want to say a dead fictional entity called IRS or DMV, if you want to make a counter complaint against them, you're dropping yourself. You're taking your status out of that of being a man who has the capacity to make a claim, and you're bringing it down to the second dimension with like an IRS or DMV, which all they could do is file criminal complaints.
Right.
They can't prove anything is true because they're a fictional entity. They can't prove anything is true. Only a man can say what is true.
It's really funny how people. It's such a gigantic.
Get the facts. Jane did wrong. Jane, get back. It's simple. And you guys are like, oh, Hale versus Hinkle law. The United States Constitution, there's a third article, Court of Confederation, and the Pilgrims have this charter, the Compact Act. Oh, geez, you guys got to stop. This is all just misdirection and confusion. This is not acting like a man saying, I make a claim, somebody done me wrong, I want compensation, this is what's due to me. Or somebody saying, who's making a claim that I owe them, who's making a claim that I owe what they claim is due? Where is it? Where is this man? Where is this woman? I'm not dropping down to your level. You're going to come up to my level. I'm in the image of God. You're going to come and talk as a man. I'm not going to talk to my servants. You're a public servant. I'm the public. I'm not going to drop down and talk to you. You just do your effing job and leave me alone. Duty in which he's failing to perform a service or function in which society is paying her, to perform. Why can't he just make simple claim like that and saying she's refusing to do her job?
Well, he can.
And by her failure to perform in a duty in which she's acquiring, public funds to do her job, is causing him harm. It's causing him a financial loss. Why can't he just, there you go, it's at the 2-minute mark, 2-hour mark, yay, just download for whatever I go to court. She's going to say why she believes that she can collect a salary, she can collect an income, she could collect money from the public and not perform a job in which she said that she would perform.
Well, they usually do the appeals. Someone else does the appeal that's not familiar with the case.
I didn't say appeal. I didn't say appeal within their system. I said take you to your local mom-and-pop county court, like you guys would call small claims. But my one penny claim is a huge claim. I don't define my claim. They might say my claim is, it's so tiny, it's so insignificant, we're going to call it small. No, my claim is a claim. It means the world to me. If it was worth me getting off my behind and going down to the courthouse and filing something, that is tremendous effort. That took me a lot. That took me 50 years to know what I'm doing. That's a huge claim. That claim is amazing for me to be able to put pen to paper. It took me 12 years of school, and I had to learn how to drive, get insurance in my car. That's a massive claim. So don't anybody fucking diminish my claim by saying, it's only a penny. Look, it's a penny to you. It might mean the world to me. Don't you tell me how much this penny is worth. What happened if the Dalai Lama swallowed it, he pooped it out, it's worth? All I'm saying is I'm making a claim, it's mine, and back off. And so he's saying that this is what he's due as compensation, and some lady has the capacity to make it happen, and for some reason she's derelicting her duty, and for some reason she doesn't feel like performing that function in which society is paying her to do her job, to make the claim against her, and let her answer in court. Say, I don't have to give you due process, sir. I don't have to process your claim because I don't feel like it, because I'm the United States, Social Security, I'm the United States, this, I'm the United States, and I could go tell you, go F yourself, and what are you going to do about it? Let her say that in open court in front of a trial by jury. Let her say it. Let her give the reason why that this man has been being done wrong.
What if he doesn't have the name of the person?
Oh, he doesn't know who's supposed to. Okay, then he's just slack and lazy.
No, I'm just saying, what if?
What if somebody can't dial a phone?
What happens if he doesn't know who's the one that did it? It's just a computer deal or something. You've got a million people sitting in a room.
He doesn't know he can't call up and say who's been assigned my case. He can't do that. And they'll say nobody. It's like, okay.
No. What if he has done that several times and they never get back to him?
Okay, he says, who's been assigned my case? So he wrote them a letter, and he says, my name is Bob Johnson, and
when he
I've got
calls
a case.
The number, he doesn't get he has to leave a message.
What the hell is wrong with you people that for some reason you forgot how to pick up a pen and paper and use ink? When I say to everybody all the time, the only way to properly answer the court is in writing. Have I ever said to you people, use your tongue that God gave you? No. Did I ever say flap your tongue? No. Did I ever say pick up the phone and make a call? No. You guys can listen to over 100 shows that I've done, and I've always said paper and pen, paper and pen, paper and pen. Is there some reason why he can't put it in paper and pen and write to them?
He has. He sent them.
And then what did he do? He sent them a letter, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and then after he sent them the letter, he gave them what, 3 days, 10 days, 20 days to answer the letter?
Yeah.
Okay, and then he went out and got a process server, okay? And the process server made delivery of the letter?
No. I don't think he went that far. He didn't go that far.
Oh, because the benefits aren't worth it? It's not worth making the claim?
I guess
why don't you just get a process? Why do you because he's too young. He's a young kid and he doesn't know how to operate within the public?
No, he's an older gentleman. He can't get around that easily. He can't get back and forth. He's got
server deliver upon the court and the people I was suing in Alabama. I had them sue over a telephone.
Oh yeah.
What did that have to do with me going down to Alabama to call up a process server? It's like processserversareus.com. It's like they're all over the United States.
I didn't know you can have someone served over the phone.
You call up a process server, and the processserver.com company will give you like 4 or 5, 20 people, 100 people in your neighborhood. They'll be more than glad for $50 to go serve your letter on a party that's not answering, because as soon as they're not answering, the process server says, hey, look, I handed that person that letter, and he's going to write a statement to you say that I made a delivery to this man or this woman on this day at this time. So now you got proof that this person is deliberately ignoring you, that this person has been assigned this job to answer, and they're not doing their job. So now that's just proof when you go into court. It's like, look, I did every attempt to communicate with this person. This person has a duty and obligation to communicate back with me. For some reason, this person feels to be derelict in their duty. And by that dereliction of duty, go to your finance division of your state. Look for risk management. It clearly says when somebody's dereliction of duty and in the course of somebody harm or loss as a state employee, the compensation is due. Make a claim that somebody's derelict in their duty. It's causing you harm. Look at this simple example of potholes. I forgot what city they were doing it in. It was Ohio. Duty to perform a certain function in which they're getting paid. And when they're not doing it, you can make a claim for compensation that your car got damaged. He can make a claim for compensation that his life is being impacted by the fact that this woman has a certain duty and obligation. She's accepting federal funds or government funds or public funds, and she's derelict in her duty. Make a claim. This is like asking me what if his car hit a pothole and it dented his rim. I'd tell him the same damn thing. Find out who's in the charge of that department. Say that there's some subordinates of theirs are in dereliction of duty, and you've accrued a financial loss due to their actions or inactions.
That was it right there. Thank you so much.
The IRS in the United States District Court. Who's the defendant? He said, duh, Dr. Mike is. I said, holy crap, no. Dr. Mike's the petitioner. IRS is the defendant in the United States of America. The law of this land is the defendant can stay mute, like O.J. Simpson. He doesn't have to say a word. The IRS is not going to say a damn word. Mike has to prove his case. The IRS can stand mute. You have no effing clue what you're doing. This guy's going to go to jail. I said to the guy, you got to get down to the IRS office or agent, and you start saying, I'll pay $5 a day for the next 10,000 days, whatever it takes. I said, but until you learn what's going on between you and the IRS, run like hell from a guy like Mark Stevens, you're going to jail. Well, that guy's now sitting in jail for overpayment until he learned how to rescind his contract with the IRS. That's all he had to do. Until he can learn how to back out gently. And he's like, hey, man, this guy's in a battle. Just learn how to back out, withdraw gently. Don't just say, hey, F you. That's not going to get you nowhere. Learn the rules of the game. Don't just think you're going to turn your back and walk away. Learn how to face and walk out backwards. Don't turn your back on these people. Don't do that. They're going to put them in jail, and they put them in jail. Do this, right? Okay. Buy salt from your store. Okay. I'll carry out your order. Here's your bill for carrying out your orders. And he'll say, well, he'll say, wow, you want me to pay all that? Yeah. Did you order me? Did you order me to do this for you? Yeah. Did I do it? Yeah. Good. Now pay me £2. He's like, wait a second. That doesn't sound right. Well, then stop giving orders. That's all Gandhi had to do. Not saying, oh, well, we're going to walk down to the ocean and we're going to get our heads cracked open. Yes, we're the Viceroy of Bombay. We have an order. Oh, good. Can I see it? Who signed it? Oh, Viceroy. Oh, good. So everybody knows who to hand the bill to, the Viceroy. Because we're going to carry out his orders. And that's what I would have done. Or I'd had 1 billion Indians behind me saying, oh, good, let's go to the store and go buy a pound of salt. And then once we did, let's flip around now and hand the Viceroy the bill for £2. Ha. Watch how many more orders this guy's going to give us. Because if English are known for one thing worldwide, it's they're masters of commerce. They have a monetary system that's equal to none. Believe me, they know when you hand them a bill and they say, hey, is that not an order? Is compensation not now due? Well, yeah, I guess it is. Okay. Well, then I guess you people better stop giving out us orders if you can't compensate for once you give an order from when we carry it out. I guess you guys are going to stop giving us orders.
You know what? There's 3 people.
What you're doing is illegal. Yeah, what you're doing is illegal. But what you're doing is lawful. But what you're doing is illegal. Do you understand the difference?
I'm a little confused.
Okay, no. Well, did you see when I was on the English TV show on UK Column?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, if you go to YouTube and you go to UK Column, you type in the word UK Column, when he came in and said they were guilty as charged, I said, yeah, okay, and they are. I'm not here to argue that fact. You're absolutely right. What they did was absolutely legal, and they're guilty as charged. So what? They're a man, and they didn't do anything wrong. Now, did they do anything wrong? And that drove that poor barrister insane. He flipped his, he literally was here. Here he was wearing a wig. He flipped his wig. Because how is he going to prove that the man did anything wrong? He can't. Did they do illegal? Yeah. What they did was they guilty as charged? Yeah, you betcha. But this is a common law land. So what? Has a man come forth to make a claim that I, as a man, has done him wrong? Yes or no? No? Well, then what are we doing here today? Well, I'm going to explain what they did was illegal. Dude, we agree. And? Who cares? This is a common law land, is it not? Yeah. Then where's the man or woman who's coming forward to make the claim? I only answer the claims. I don't answer the complaints. Is this a complaint? Are you complaining that I did something? Yeah, well, I don't listen to complaints. My wife complains all the time. I don't listen to her either. Now, you going to make a claim? You got absolute proof that I've been cheating on you, honey? You got the lipstick, you got videotape, you got a third, and you have a claim? I'm not wasting my time answering your nonsense. It's simple. Like I said, somebody made these shows, took my shows and chopped it. I think this, yeah, okay, guilty as charged. Yeah, whoopee-doo. I made a claim in court. Who did I do wrong? Not only did I make a claim that who did these folks do wrong, but on the case was on Friday the 13th. On Thursday the 12th, we actually went to court and filed a claim that there's a false charge being brought into the public, and then we're going to require compensation. And that's what we did on the 12th, on Thursday the 12th in December. So when we handed it to the court, we said, you moving us on the 13th to answer this, what we did was, what these folks did was illegal? Great, fine. But what you people are doing is unlawful. And we got to claim it for, in England it's called the Queen's Bench, like a Judge Judy bench, a common law bench, where it's not based on statute, where we could actually bring a man or woman forward to say that we've been harmed, we've been injured, we've been wronged. And we will prove it. So when they saw that claim against their complaint, they realized we had the trump card. Like I said, so you're not going to get this all in one little snippet on an Angela call. Like I said, there's a man called Trust in All Law. His name is Lentz.
Craig.
Okay. Sorry about that. Craig with a C.
There's a link to it on the page I made on my website for you. If you go to myprivateaudio.com and you look at the top of the home page, it says Karl Lentz. Click on that, and the UK column video is right there, and then all the audio links are right there. It's YouTube, where you can see all of the videos.
Yeah, then a man from Indiana, he finally put together the. See what I did in England, the DVDs. They find the person, then send them a letter. Then when they don't answer the letter, then find a process server. Find a process server, have them deliver upon them. Then you file a claim in your local mom and pop court. Then they got 21 days to answer. Then you go to the court clerk and ask the court clerk, can you sign a courtroom so I can move this matter before the court? She'll assign you a court case. Then you courtroom. Then you let the other side know that they're going to have to appear on a certain day. When they don't appear, you don't wait for the default of summary judgment. You have the court issue a warrant out for their arrest, and you have the sheriff or the deputy department, or the sheriff's department, and the deputy have that person dragged before the court. You don't want a default judgment. You don't want summary judgment. You want to have that person hear the claim made before them in open court in an open forum for the whole world to witness that they had the ability to answer. They didn't answer in the letter. They didn't answer when the process service served them. They're going to have this final chance to answer in open court. They failed to. This judgment now is final. Forever hold the peace. It's done. Then you're going to have an order, and then you could go have it executed by the sheriff's department. There you go. Now, do I got to make a flow chart? Yeah, sure. Can you guys make your own freaking flow chart? Slam them and slap them into the ground or something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All he was doing was turn around to check his wife.
Okay, sir. What I'm saying, I've got to try to get you folks to stop looking at it this way, and I'm trying to make you guys look at it from a different point of view. All I'm trying to say is a man who was at the time acting as a police officer did a certain act. Didn't act.
I hear you all the time, so you don't have to go any further on
something. No, a policeman is defined as a perfect human being who will lay down his life for any man, woman, and child in need. obviously that was not a policeman that did it. Obviously, that was a man who did it, who was operating outside of his duty or was outside of his office, okay? That was a man.
A corporate.
Who at times acts as a police officer for 8 hours a day. He's a police officer. The other 16 hours a day, he's a man. So if somebody said to me, a policeman did, it's like mean a man who at times, part-time, from being a man, he wears a uniform for 8 hours. The other 16 hours, he's a normal man just like you and me. So if somebody defined him as a policeman, I'd say, no, at first I would define him as a man, and then I'd say for 8 hours a day he works as a policeman. That I would say, that is more accurate to define him because there's 168 hours in a week. 40 hours, he's a policeman. The 128, he's a man. So I wouldn't define him as a policeman. I define him first and foremost as a man who at times acts as a policeman. And he knows he's got certain duties, responsibilities, and obligations to his fellow man. There you go. I'm just trying to get people's minds wrapped around, stop saying a judge did this, a prosecutor did this, a policeman did this. No, a man or woman did this who at times acts as a prosecutor. Okay? That's all I'm trying to get people to start looking at these policemen and judges and prosecutors as another man, another woman, who just happen to be wearing a costume at that particular moment of time in which they intercourse. But first and foremost, they're a man. They're a woman.
Now, how would you make a claim against these guys? Here you're enjoying a free right to travel. You're not harming no one. And they pull you over and assault you and do all that routine.
What I'm saying is, why do you use these words like travel?
We're traveling.
Okay, let's just say like Tarzan. See what I'm saying? If you guys use simple words, instead of saying I got the right to travel, I say, meet Tarzan. I go from A to B. I go from here to there. So are you interfering? So like the one guy in Texas, when he got on my show, he asked the cop that very simple question. The cop said license, registration. And he said to the cop said, he said to the cop, are you a man? He said, yeah, I hope so. It's like, well, are you a man and I'm a man, and you interfere in my right to go from point A to point B? And the cop said, license, registration. And he's like, are you a man? He's like, yeah. Are you telling me as another man that I can't go from point A to point B in a certain manner? Well, license, registration, sir. Again, you're a man and I'm a man, and I don't believe any man can interfere with another man's right to go from point A to point B. And the cop just walked away from him, got in his car and left.
I love those stories.
We're dealing with intercoursing with these uniformed mans. It was men and mans, not plural, so it's technically correct what I just said. But what I'm trying to say is, he actually, after it worked 2 times on him, he drove up to Virginia, and he hung out with me for 4 days to see if I was for real. And it's like, holy crap, this crap actually works, and I got to actually meet the man. His name is Jimmy Lentz. You said private property. You see, you didn't say me, Tarzan, you, Jane. Tarzan would say me property, not yours. No, you know property, me property. He wouldn't say private property. See, but by using private property, the teacher gave you an A+ and a gold star. By me saying me property, the teacher gave me an F. So you would right off the bat. You the
same way with my words. So
you were taught, right? What I'm trying to say is, you folks are taught right off the bat. If you said that's my private property, you got the A and a gold star. I said, if I told like Tarzan and say me property, the teacher gave me an F.
Yeah.
But mine is technically correct in court. Yours, they could totally destroy. What do you mean by private property, sir? What do you mean? How's it private? Define private to me, sir. Or let's go by our definition of private. Or let's go by our definition of property. Or our combination. Is that one word, private property? Is that like Karl Lentz, is a one object? Or are you saying there's a Karl and there's a Lentz? Or is it Karl Lentz? Or is it private property? Is that a term? Or is that a way to define property? You're making it too. You're making it too complicated. Just like meat property, who sometimes is closed at the DA. Go ahead.
That we're going to write out a claim for. Well, I can't use his name. I almost did. For my friend to be able to address in writing to the court and to the DA, because we don't think we're talking to the judge. We're talking to the other party and then going into jurisdiction if we have to. But How do you write that simple claim in a couple of sentences? Just
how do you write a simple claim? What I'm saying, just
traveling from point A to point B.
How do you make a simple claim that a man has done you wrong?
Yeah, they stopped him in the middle of the night. He was happily going home.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you tell me how you would say that a man named Karl Lentz stopped you in the middle of the night and I didn't have the capacity authority to do it? How would you make a claim that Karl Lentz did it the same way?
Well, I would overcomplicate it. I usually do, but
how would you
probably
claim that I stopped you? How would you make a claim that I stopped you or your friend in the middle of the road?
Okay, I was traveling from point A to point B. This man comes up, snaps his blue lights on, pulls me over, and tells me to get out of my vehicle. I get out of the stop, and
what about purple lights on? What would you do? And it wasn't driving the police. Right. What I'm trying to say, sir, what does it matter what color the lights were? Why are you destroying your own claim? Why do you have to mention the color of the lights? Why can't you just say some man interfered with my right to go from point A to point B?
Okay, that's simplifying.
There's your claim.
He trespassed against you, right?
Well, let him come to court and say, I have the right to interfere with your right to go from point A to point B. Let him make his claim. And if your society believes where you live that the police have the capacity to interfere with your right to go from point A to point B, you're going to lose. But the judge, he'll toss it to you. He'll say, you're absolutely right. The jury, they'll throw you under the bus. You'll lose in front of a jury. The jury will say, within our society, within our little territory here, our little district, our little community, no. When a cop stops you, you got to stop.
Well, I recommended against the jury.
What?
I recommended against the jury. I felt that we had enough information to go directly to the...
No, sir. It isn't because you have enough. It's because you know that the jury is going to hang you. The jury is going to get the nails in the cross and they're going to crucify you. It's not because you have enough. You have to understand the people in the jury are people who live in a normal society that they believe in speed limits, driver's license, insurance cards, and you're living in a small cluster of your little buddies in a little tiny group within a huge city that the people in the city will say, you're out of your mind. Now, if you're living you find someplace in Oregon, in the eastern side of Oregon where nobody lives, and you got a little community that's operating like that, yeah, you can get away with it. But you go into a big city like Chicago and New York, and you try to say, well, I'm a free man, and I don't need a driver's license, and I don't need insurance, and I don't need this. You go in front of a jury, they're going to throw you under the bus. So then you could go just go to the guy with the black robe on. You got a guy with a black robe and say, look, is he a man? Yes. Am I a man? Yes. Is this a common law land still? Yes. Is anybody making a claim that I've done wrong? Well, no. What he said he did was illegal. I agree what I did was illegal. But it's still not the supreme law of the land, a common law land. This is not a common law land. And if Carl Miller and everybody else doesn't believe it, just go to Wikipedia. There's a map on Wikipedia. I think it's on my website, too, on broadmind.org, where I make this very simple map that somebody made in Wikipedia. It's a common law nations, Sharia law nations, which are like Muslim nations where you get your hand cut off for stealing a loaf of bread, and then you got the Napoleonic Code lands. So when you say, well, the common law is dead in the state of Michigan, well, for the government of the state of Michigan and their legislators, it is dead, okay? Because that's a little tiny group called the government of the state of Michigan. It's the government. It's an organization. It's not the state. Okay, half the state of Michigan has Indian reservations on it. Okay, what does that mean? Half the state of North Dakota has Indian reservations on it. Does federal law, does the United States have any jurisdiction whatsoever in half of North Dakota? No. Does the common law of those Indians that live up there reign supreme? You better believe it. So don't say, oh, the states don't have common law anymore. Really? How about 1/10 or 1/5 of the United States is still occupied by Indians, and they run under their own laws, under their own codes, under their own beliefs, and hold their own courts?
You see these Indians eating their own children? No.
No.
You see the Indians running lawless and just raping women and children all around their little reservations? No. Do they have some sort of codes that's written on paper? No. Do they have courts? I'm sure they do. So what are you saying? Oh, the United States Constitution secured and protected for the man of this land. Okay, so like what? 1/5, 1/10 of this land is still occupied by Indians? Are you saying it's a lawless? They're a bunch of lawless nations within this nation? Is that what you're saying? No, that's ridiculous. How come they're just surviving just fine? Well, I guess these Karl Millers are people who believe in the Constitution of the United States. All these Indians should have been dead by now because they're a lawless people for the last 230 years, and they shouldn't be able to conduct themselves without an Article 3 court protecting and securing their rights. I don't see a mass exodus from Indian reservations say, "Oh, please help us. The Cherokee Nation is so cruel to us. Oh, we better move to the white man land and be protected by the United States Constitution." I don't see a mass exodus from the Indian reservations.
No, we don't either. I mean, we get
Article 3 Constitution protect and secure their rights. It's ridiculous. So if you're
telling they answer to whether they've done someone wrong, the way you explain it.
You folks would call them a bunch of illiterate Indians. They have no books, no papers, no pens, and if they don't want to deal with the white man's language, they want to deal with their native language. You don't see them raping, robbing, and killing each other because they don't have the benefit of the Bible or they don't have the benefit of the United States Constitution. They live amongst us. When they come out amongst us, they know how to behave like what you would people call the civilized people. They're not just running off their reservations and raping and killing and pillaging everybody in their community next to them. They got their own nations, within the Atlantic, Pacific, Canada, and Mexican border. They're doing just fine without us.
And that they do.
Have my brother incurred a financial loss because of my lying or my stealing or my double dealing? No. Okay, well then, how am I subscribed or how do I ascribe to your jurisdiction under your control? How do you believe I'm expressly defined within your statute? Did you see my name in your statute somewhere? No. Did you see a signature somewhere that I'm going to abide by your code? No. Then how are you moving me? Simple. You guys just got to stop thinking so freaking complicated and stop. You guys are so enamored in your own beliefs and the jurisprudence and understanding, micromanaging, like reading all these Black's Law dictionaries, just like Dean Clifford's lawyer lady told him, look, you better put that book down before you hurt yourself. And that's exactly what he did. He hurt himself by trying to master their codes. When he got arrested, they found out, oh, my God, they changed the codes on us 3 months ago. Now what do we do? You know what?